How you doing, everybody? And welcome into PNC Studios at Hallis Hall. We're getting you ready for Week 6. It's a primetime game. The bright lights in the big city on as Ron Rivera's Washington Commanders come to town to meet the Bears. They limp in, though. They've lost 4 in a row. They've been outscored by 44 points in those 4 games and suffered a tough loss against Tennessee, just like the Bears suffered a tough loss in Minnesota. 29-22, they went down to the wire with the Vikings. Balled up their fists and fought back from a big deficit. I was impressed with the resiliency, and that's a word that they were going to hear a lot about from Matt Eberflus and the front office about what this team is going to be now and in the future.
Well, you know, I think both of these head coaches are good leaders of their football teams. They play hard for Ron Rivera. We've seen that in his past, and they've been playing hard for Matt Eberflus. And even though whatever they face in the first half, they rebound in the second half. And that's super encouraging to see because you can tell that Matt has the attention of the football team. Last week in pregame, you asked Matt, do you know this team yet? And I think it's a process for a head coach, a coaching staff, to get to know your players. How do they fit along with your staff? And then how do they come together during the games? I like what I've seen. I'm encouraged, but they got to come out here Thursday night and they got to put on a performance that impresses the home crowd and continues the process of improvement that they've showed in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to really get yourself back on the win side of things and, you know, start to get it. You're back to 500, you know. Get back to 500 after 6 weeks and see what happens here and keep growing. Let's talk about some of the things that will impact this game on Thursday. Obviously, the short turnaround, but these young players who have been getting so much attention, both on defense, the guys on offense, but special teams as well. The amount of learning that's going on through experience as opposed to just watching with their eyes from the sidelines. The significance of Jalen Jones getting, you know, he's the leading tackler in the game. Obviously, there's reasons for that. Justin Jefferson was highly targeted. You made the catch, you got to make the tackle. They didn't let him get too far behind them, but Kyler Gordon tackled a lot in this game and really sound technique the way Eberflus and Alan Williams wants it. This Blackwell from Duke, the undrafted rookie, he is really impressive on special teams. I mean, Dominique Robinson rushing in that NASCAR package on the inside at defensive tackle as well, not that far removed from quarterback.
You haven't even mentioned your favorite guy, Jaquan Brisker. My gosh, because there's so many of them, Jeff, and they all have a hand in it. So what impresses me when you talk about the coaching staff and how it leads to the rookies is they're constantly, continuously teaching these guys, whether it's preaching about fundamental tackling position or your assignments. And you can see improvement in these guys. I like their attitude. I like their confidence. I like their willingness to stand up against some of these guys that have a reputation of being stars in the NFL. And so every single game, I think that's kind of what I'm attached to now, is to see this improvement week in and week out. And if they continue along this line, you don't know how it's going to work itself out in the second half of the season.
I just know this. You're not going to come in here, I don't care what team, and think you're just going to roll these guys.
No.
They're going to fight you to the finish. And honestly, when you're a team that's developing, you know, yes, you want them to win. Yes, you don't want them to make those mental errors in a game or make the wrong decision. But boy, they fight you, man, and that's exactly what I'm looking for.
They're told what to do, how to improve it, and they don't make the same error twice. That's what encourages me. And so whether you want to talk about the offensive linemen and guys like Braxton Jones, who gets better every week and is able to work on the edges as well as he is in the interior, the continuous development of Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum over on that right side as kind of a team inside the offensive line. There's a lot of encouraging things, but now when they play the Commanders on Thursday night, I want to see them to gain the support of the crowd, have these guys enjoy what they're seeing that are in the stands, and then have the results on the field.
If Justin Fields gets to enjoy that 53-yard amazing run, threading his way through that Minnesota defense on the way to the end zone, if not for a foul on Amar Smith-Marset, wow, his day would have been a national story. It was a good day from the pocket and a good day for decision-making on the move. Can he take it to Thursday?
Well, I looked at one of the TV shows this morning, and then the number one replayed is the catch by Darnell Mooney.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
But if you get that run by Justin Fields, you might have 1-2 or 2-1 right there.
No question.
So, again, I'm really impressed with what Justin did in this game because, like I said, the environment was difficult. The crowd was super supportive on behalf of Minnesota. He was very calm inside the pocket. He worked his feet very efficiently. He got everybody involved, from David Montgomery on the first play of the game to 4 targets to Cole Kmet, the big pass to Darnell Mooney, and the rest of the guys getting involved. It's just something that I think we're hungry to see, that continuous improvement.
And a little appetizer from Bayless Jones Jr., his speed to get to the short pylon there for the touchdown on his first NFL touch. That's a big throw for him. He said he was going to get a touchdown on his first NFL touch, or in his first NFL game. But he thought he was going to be a big bomb. But hey,
whatever.
He called it.
It still leads to 6 points.
It gives something for Washington to get on tape and concern themselves with. So let's start breaking things down against these Washington Commanders. What impresses me is their defensive line.
Yeah.
They've got some big guys up front. So I'm going to start us off with our keys focus player of the game. I'm going to go with the entire Bears offensive line against a defensive line that has 3 first-round picks on it. And they do get after you. They get after you at the quarterback. They got a 7th-round pick who had 4 They had 13 hits on Ryan Tannehill on Sunday. That's a lot of hits at the quarterback. And they made Derrick Henry carry 28 times to get his 102 yards. So they're going to be tough.
Yeah. I'm going to go the opposite side of the football. I'm going to go with the defensive line, the defensive ends specifically. The Bears have a team, they have a total of 8 sacks. It's not good enough at this point. They come from a lot of different players, but I think there's some susceptibility against the offensive line of the Washington Commanders. If they get that loud crowd noise and the defensive ends, the interior defensive linemen, can get a step on some of these offensive linemen, it's going to result in pressure. And I know Carson Wentz has a great reputation in the NFL, but he's not going to run away from anybody. I think the speed on the Bears' defensive line is equal to the speed of their quarterback, so I think they can chase him down.
He hangs in there. To the last second, whether that's right or wrong, he's a fighter in there to the last second. He's taken 20 sacks this season and a bunch of hits, but he will, if he gets in a rhythm, he's going to move the football. It's how you finish on those drives, and the Bears want to get better on 3rd down. Obviously, at 50% for the year is not quite good enough. Give me something on the offensive side of the ball for you.
Well, I like David Montgomery, the receiver. David Montgomery is a 3-down back, and there's not a lot of those in the NFL. So if you're equal confident, no matter what the down and distance is, no matter what the play is, that you really feel good about David. What I like about David is he left an impression on the rest of his teammates that the game is important to him. When he was injured and he had to sit out a week, you saw him on the sidelines fighting to get back to play. I think that is a great influence in the locker room. It's a great influence, so these young guys got to see how important it is to a veteran like David Montgomery. And now when you think of David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Treston Ebner, they got a 1-2-3 punch that can be effective. So give me a couple more catches to David. Give me a couple catches to Khalil Herbert, and I think it's going to help the overall offensive performance.
Now, I know you already picked the edges of the Bears' defensive line. My defensive guy is going to be Justin Jones, because I think against the interior of that offensive line, where Carson Wentz lives in that pocket, is going to be something the Bears can possibly take advantage of. I think he's really starting to feel the lather a little bit. Had a good pressure, had another sack this week. He's a violent player in there, and they want him to get upfield and make some noise, so that's the case. Other nuggets about this Washington team, they got a lot of weapons. They do have a lot of weapons. Name guys, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, who will both catch and run the football. Jahan Dotson didn't play last week, but the rookie has 4 touchdown catches this year. The running game's been quiet, but Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick can also catch the football. Tight end position, not really knowing much about them. Logan Thomas has been banged up, but those are things to watch. And defensively, Tommy, 1 takeaway this year in 5 games. That's it for Washington, just 1 interception.
They have guys that can be dangerous. You think of Montez Sweat. When I was watching the combine and he ran a 4.41 40, he's got 23 career sacks. He's got 7 forced fumbles. He's got 9 deflected passes. He's got 1 interception. So this is the type of guy that can complement Jonathan Allen on the inside. But listen, when you're talking about 6'6", 262 pounds that can run like that.
Runs like you.
Listen, I wish, you just got to make sure you get him blocked, because you don't want a guy like that to gain any confidence, because that's the type of confidence that spills over to Ron Rivera and the rest of the defense.
Keep an eye on this guy, James Smith-Williams. He was a 7th-round pick a couple of years ago. He had 4 hits on the quarterback on Sunday as well. The benefit of dealing with 3 first-round picks against that Washington team. We'll be on the radio starting at 4:20 on WBBM with the 7:20 kickoff. Be sure you join us there. That's going to wrap us up for our game preview. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.